Being a car salesperson, it seems to be one of the only jobs where you can show up, not fully understand your job to the fullest, give half-ass, and still be able to achieve above average results. Welcome to Car Talk, where I give you my 20 years of experience on my 20-minute drive Results. to work. This is kind of something that needs to be talked about. And today, this video, this is for the managers, not for the salespeople. This is for the managers because we got to be thinking in the future because things are changing. And unfortunately, most salespeople, they don't think about the future. They're only worried about today. And so as managers, if we're going to make sure that our job is safe and that we're still going to produce at the numbers that we want to produce, we're going to have to change. We're going to have to think about the future. I look at AI and I listen to the conversations on most people that they talk about AI, and people joke about how AI is going to take people's jobs away. It's not a joke. It's here and it's actually happening. Now, I don't think it's going to take as many jobs as people say, but what I do think is going to happen, to make one point here, what I do think is going to happen is few people are going to really learn the AI. And those few people are going to take the jobs of the people who don't use AI. So I don't necessarily think AI is going to take people's jobs per se. I think that people who use AI are definitely going to take people's jobs. But most of our salespeople, and they don't fully understand the job, nor do they seem to care to really fully understand how everything works. They expect us as managers to know how everything works, which is fine. That's our job as a manager, to fully understand how everything works. But there's a lot of moving pieces in the dealership, and to be an expert on everything that we utilize is pretty difficult. So as a manager, we expect our salespeople to be professionals, and we expect them to understand the tools that they use. Am I right? Exactly. But they don't. Nor do I think most of them care to. They want to show up, they want to put minimal effort in, and they're okay with it. They're okay with it. And I mean, you know what? As long as people are happy, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But as a manager in a dealership where we have a high level of success and we want to achieve more, we get stuck in this position where we have some people that might be around us that might not want to achieve more, but we do. So what do we do about that? What do we do about the people that don't want to achieve more? We love them. We want to see them succeed, but they just truly don't. They don't want to dig in and figure out every in and out of the CRM. They don't want to dig in, figure out every in and out of the digital retail tool. They don't want to dig in and know all the OEM programs that are going on month to month. They don't want to dig in and really know why their vehicle outperforms, the other vehicles in that segment. It's just one of those businesses that I see that people come in and they just give it half-ass, but then the results come. And they're above average results, and I think that breeds that kind of breeds that activity and that mindset of like, you know what, I don't really got to try that hard, because if not trying that hard, I'm still achieving more results than I would if I had this other job. And then that puts us, like I said, it puts us in this tough spot. If you were a contractor and you were building a house and you didn't know how to put walls up so they would stay up, I don't think you'd be doing that very long. If you had to put a roof on a house and you didn't understand the materials that you had to use and how to overlap the material and how to make sure that the roof didn't leak, I don't think you'd be doing that job very long. But we do allow it in the car business, and it's unfortunate, and I do the same as well. I love everybody, and I want to see everybody succeed. But at what point do we force these people to grow, or do we force them out of the business? Maybe it's just different times. I don't know. Maybe it's different times. But if you watch the car business and you watch in the last 20 years I've been in it, and it's evolved, and new technology and new strategies and all this new stuff comes out. I watch people just kind of like fade out. They faded out when the internet came about. A lot of good car salespeople faded out because they didn't want to figure out the internet. They didn't want to understand the new buyer and the new mentality of new buyers and how to still capitalize on it. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to use the excuse of the internet, and they faded out. When the CRM came, where we had to track all of our customers digital and get a hold of them and do activity, a bunch of car salespeople faded out. They just faded out because they didn't do that. They didn't want to do that. They didn't have the ability to be organized and be self-accountable, and they just couldn't do it. So they faded out. COVID's another one. During COVID, everybody that stepped foot onto the car dealership that wanted to sell cars did amazing at it. A lot of bad habits got created. A lot of like easy money got made. Fast forward to today, those salespeople are fading out because now it's getting back to normal, where it's actually a little bit more difficult to sell a car, and you actually got to put in forth effort and know the process of selling a car. So now people are fading out from COVID. I don't understand this. I've been in this 20 plus years, and I'm willing to adapt and change however I need to. But most people don't. Most people will show up, they'll complain about the systems that we use, they'll talk about how broken they are, but if you ask them, hey, do you know how to get to the backside of it and go through like the academy and the training? They're going to say no. Or if they do know how, hey, have you ever been through that training? No, I haven't. But it's broken system, or they expect you to do it. It's time for a change in the car business. It's time for a change, because I've been saying this for a long time. What's about to happen in the car business is there's going to be less salespeople selling more of the cars, because less salespeople are going to be able to handle more with AI and a few other tools that are coming out. We already have it integrated into the CRM. You already have AI doing follow-up. You already have AI reaching out to fresh leads. You already have AI answering phone calls. But AI isn't there in person to help the customer touch and feel the product. But if you're unwilling as a salesperson, or you got staff that's unwilling, they're going to start to fade out. I promise you. This is about to be another step in the car business where they fade out again. So managers, get your process tight. Get it tight. Understand your tools. Understand your goals. Understand what you expect. And it's time to hold people super accountable. Okay? You got to be doing weekly check-ins. You got to do monthly check-ins. Hold them accountable. Because it's not going to be you that fails them. They're going to fail themselves, and they're going to fade out. This is going to be happening over the next year and a half. I promise you. Hopefully, everybody gets their shit together, and everybody just keeps doing it, because this is such an amazing business where you can. It does take not much effort to get real good results. But it's going to turn into the people who are smart. They're working smart. They're using all the technology to its fullest. And they're going to be able to do the job of 2 or 3 people. But they're going to have to be organized. They're going to have to understand the systems. They're going to have to be able to show up on time. They're going to have to be able to willing to hustle. They're going to have to take direction. They're going to have to be calm, patient. You know, they're going to have to have all these tools, because essentially they're going to go up a notch. They're not just going to be a salesperson no more. They're going to go up a notch. There'll probably be a new role that gets created for them, or a new position title or something. But it's coming. And when these things come, people joke about them. They laugh and they joke about them, because inside they know they're scared. They're scared about what's going to happen. So instead of like taking it serious, they'll crack jokes about it. You listen. You ask around your dealership and you listen. Okay? And you listen to the way they talk about AI and how AI is integrated. They're going to talk about how AI integration right now is terrible and it's no good and it's making customers mad. And they're going to joke about, oh, AI is going to take everybody's job. You listen. If your staff is making these sort of comments, it's because they're scared that they're about to lose their job because they know it's the truth. So they're actually scared. So hopefully we can reroute these people on the right path of it is time to start using the technology because the technology is here. And once the technology gets here, it doesn't fade out. It gets used. It's happened over all the years in the car business. So hopefully, we see some light at the end of the tunnel and we actually go for it. But managers, do yourself a favor. Get your process dialed in. Get it dialed in. Get your expectations in and be consistent on what you're asking for. There's no need to get all worked up about some little details at the moment. Just get your process dialed, get what you expect down, get it in writing, because it's time for a change and it's happening. And if you as a manager aren't prepared for this change, you'll be one of the ones that fade out. So let's not fade out of this business. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this business. Now it's adapt, change, and let's conquer the new world that we're about to be in. It's gonna come. And usually it happens like this. It'll slowly be rolling out and then boom, it just happens. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Hopefully these videos spark some interest in you, open up some conversations within your dealership. Leave me a comment if there's any video you'd like me to do. Got any questions for me, let me know. I appreciate it. Until tomorrow, you guys have a great day. I'm about to go get after it. Bit of your help, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done that, and most importantly, please send this video to 1 or 2 people that you know could really use some motivation, and maybe this video will just help them out.